Instructions for taking measurements. Preparation of the customer. The measurements of the leg can be taken on bare leg or over pants. It is recommended that the salesperson take measurements on the bare leg. If measurements are taken over pants, be sure to indicate what type of pants, blue jeans, equestrian breeches, or any other. The position of the leg should be such that the knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Use a chair or a measuring stand that is the proper height so that the customer can sit with their leg at that angle. We suggest that the customer sit in a director's chair. You may start measuring either the right or left foot or leg. The measurements of the first foot and leg will be compared that of the second foot and leg. When you use a stitch tape measure, it is possible that there will be a difference in the measurements. If the difference is of one number or less, there is no need to retake measurements. However, if the difference is 1.5 number or more, the measurements should be retaken. If you don't have the stitch tape measure, use one in inches. When you measure foot length with a wooden foot sizer reed stick and find any difference in length between the 2 feet, it is necessary to retake measurements. Drawings of feet. Measuring axis. It is important to set the measuring axis of the foot. Point A represents the frontmost point of the foot, the toes. Point B represents the backmost point of the foot, which is the heel. Points C and D represent the widest points of the foot, where point C is always located on the inner side of the foot and D on the outside. Mark A and B using a big brand pen and holding it in vertical position. Mark the length of the foot as indicated in the graphic. Mark a line. Remember to hold the pen straight up and down at the most pronounced part of the heel. In the same way, mark the longest toe of the foot. Mark C and D, looking over the toes of the foot, and with the pen in vertical position, mark the widest points of the feet as shown in the graphic. After marking points A, B, C, and D, trace around the rest of the foot with the pen straight up and down. This will connect points A through D and show us any deformities of the feet to which we need to pay special attention: bunions, heel spurs, etc. Use the stitch tape measurements for all measurements. Use the special tape measure that we provide for you. If you don't have it, use an inches tape measure. The stitch tape measure has 3 different measurements. The one you should use is marked stitch and has numbers marked on it 1 through 90. Never use measurements marked 1 through 60 or 1 through 46. Remember, when taking measurements, the customer should be seated with the knee bent at a 90-degree angle. Take the measurements in the order that they are printed on the bottom of the measurement form. Toes. Passing the stitch tape under the foot and over points C and D, measure the widest part of the foot and write down the measurement on the space marked toes. Passing the stitch tape under the foot and over points C and D, measure the widest part of the foot and note the measurement in the space provided as toes. Instep. The measurement is taken in the middle of the foot. The tape should pass under the foot, at the point of the arch, and over the foot at the point of the instep. A small bone with a blood vessel will mark the point of the instep. To find the point of the arch, pass the tape under the foot. Slide the tape left to right, back and forth, and move front to back to front. When you find the least amount of resistance on the tape, you have found the arch point. Note this measurement in the space marked instep. Entrance. To take this measurement, pass the stitch tape around the heel, at the point where it actually touches the ground, and over the foot at the point where the foot turns into leg. Note this measurement in the space marked entrance. Height of boots for hunter jumpers, eventing, and fox hunting boots. The height measurement should only be taken on the inside of the leg, never on the outside. Always with customer's leg at 90 degrees, find the back of the knee at the point where the leg bends. From this point, and using a stitch tape, measure 6 numbers up the leg to a new point. From the new point, measure straight down to the floor. The resulting measurement will be the height of the boots for the following: jumpers, hunters, fox hunters. For dressage, only add 4 units or 1 inch. At the point that marks the top of the boot, we need to measure around the leg and enter both measurements on the form in the space provided as height 1. Example: if the height is 65 and the circumference is 44.5, you should enter 65 over 44.5. Heights 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for these boots should be taken in the following manner. From the point entered as height 1, subtract 10 numbers towards the floor to find height 2. Using the above example, from height 1, which is 65, subtract 10, and the result will be height 2, which is 55. Then measure the circumference of the leg at that point. Example: if the height is 55 and the circumference is 48, you should enter 55 over 48 in the space provided as height 2. Continue the same process measuring down 10 numbers and around the leg for heights 3, 4, 5, 6, or until you reach a height of between 21 and 29, which will be the last measurement of height and circumference. For dressage boots, please only add 4 numbers to the height. Ankle. Using the stitch tape, measure around the leg just above the ankle bone and note the measurement in the space marked ankle. Using the ruler to take measurements. Use the wooden ruler with stick to take length and width measurements. This ruler contains 3 measurements: children and men's length. Use this scale to measure the length of all of our customers' feet. The foot is placed on the ruler with the heel against a fixed block and sliding the block on the same end as the toes. Slide the block until it touches the longest toe and take the measurement of A and B. Record the measurement in the center of the foot with the width measurement as described below. Width scale. The first 28 numbers at the beginning of the ruler are used to measure the width of the feet. Position the foot of the ruler and slide the block so that you can measure C and D. Record the measurement in the center of the foot drawing. Taking the correct measurements of our customers' feet and legs represents 50% of our success in the manufacturing of handmade custom boots and shoes. In order to have perfect measurements, it is important to follow the instructions in this manual. This is the only way we can ensure that the final product will be received in perfect conditions by our customers. Thanks for trust in La Mundial Custom Boots.